Nexus for Flashback. And in this episode, we are looking at issue 23, the Nebula class starship. This is the starship here. I love it. It's actually, out of all the designs, I have two favourite designs. It's this one and the Steam Runner. Just love it. But we'll have a closer look at that in just a minute. So let's pull that out of the way. Let's have a look through the magazine first. So it's a Nebula class. The ship they've gone for is the Honshu, the USS Honshu. That's the one they've chosen to go with. I think I know why they've chosen it. They could have gone for the Sunderland or the Farragut. I think the reason they went for the Honshu is because I think it's the last ship that appeared on screen with a name on an episode of Deep Space Nine. But there's been quite a few on screen. So yeah, so we have a obviously the stats as well. So you know, Utopia Planitia, shipyards, 750 crew members, warp speed, obviously the names of some of the captains that have been in command of the Nebula class starship. We get a lot of in-universe information. There is a variant of the Nebula class starship, which is the Phoenix, which has a slightly different pod on the top there. I've already done a review on it, but obviously it will eventually come up on our Flashback. So make sure you click to subscribe. Go and check out our other videos as well that we've done, because I've done one on the Phoenix. There it is there. So you can see the Phoenix has a round saucer pod on the top, other than the square, the triangle one. I prefer the triangle one. So here, this is the Farragut from Starship Generations, and here is the Sunderland, which is what Data commands in one of the episodes of Next Gen. So here we have again. Obviously, it's appeared on Deep Space Nine. It's even appeared on Voyager, and in feature films as well. So it's got about a bit. It has got about. I love the design. So it has this. It's got all the components of a Galaxy class starship just squashed, and it has this unique. That says equipment module. So I think they could be interchanged. That's why we have the variant that we do. They're mostly weapons or sensor pod things. Then we come on to designing. Obviously, a really nice picture there of it leaving Viridian 3 from Starship Generations. The wreck of one just here from Best of Both Worlds. And then obviously we have the Phoenix, the variant version. Or I should actually say that was the first version. It only got changed after that. Then we have obviously how they designed it, and these are a lot of clips here of the actual physical model that they used, the miniature model for Generations. And here we have it from the Sunderland when they used it, and the upgraded parts that they did for its journey on Starship Generations. Then obviously it became a CG. So here we have a nice picture of it at the CG house, where they're taking lots of photos and working so they can get a digital version, which is here. Obviously it appeared in Voyager, many other shows. I think that, like I said, the Honshu was the last one we had named on the show, so I think that's the last CG render was of it as the Honshu. So I think that's why we've got the Honshu, because I know a lot of people were sort of, well, why did they choose the Honshu? Anyway, and then we come on to introducing the Kardashians. First made their appearance on the Next Generation, but become more influence on Deep Space Nine. There, some obviously trivia there, and then obviously the Wounded, which is its first appearance, Phoenix right there. Obviously on Flashback we're looking back over all the Star Trek ships that have come out so far. Issue 24 we'll be looking at, which is the Xindi insectoid warship, basically. That model is a lot bigger than the standard ones. It's a really interesting design as well. There's the top view of the Nebula class starship. And so, shall we have a closer look at the Nebula? This is our closer look at the Nebula class starship. Now, the base suffers from wobbleness, and I'll say that because the base here, I've had to put a bit of glue and blue tack to sort of hold it, but as you can see, it wobbles in there quite a bit. That is because this Nebula class starship, the whole saucer section is die cast, which means it leans forward because of the surface, like the counter of it basically pulls it down, and that's what we're left with. But anyway, let's take a closer look at the Nebula class starship. So it says Honshu just there. Size comparison, yep, so remember the issue number 1, the Galaxy class starship. It's the same size, the same warp in the cells as well. The only difference is it doesn't have the cut bits up here for the impulse engines, and it's very plain on the back, but we'll get to that in a second. So let's take a closer look. Yep, really nice. It does suffer from window misalignment, as you can see just here. It's a sort of fault that they all come with, and I say all of them because 90% of them do. So that's really nice there. Let's look underneath and to the side. So this is the side. So the warp and the cells are the same ones that you get on the Enterprise D, the Galaxy class. Obviously, it's a lot of Galaxy class components, but the model itself is literally those parts reused. I think the engineering hull is slightly shorter. So yeah, under here as well. So that's really nice. The deflector dish is coloured as well, so it's really nice. We also get some detailing here along the side. If it will focus, there we go, with the registry. There is some really nice texture on the top here as well, on the pod, and then we come to the back. So we don't have an impulse engine. The shuttle bay is supposed to be here. Yeah, it's almost like they've done the front and then just gone, nah, the back's okay. And they've completely forgotten the detail on the back. Even lights and stuff on the pontoon here, on the strut, there is just nothing. It's almost like they forgot. It's a shame because the model itself looks really nice. Though when you pose it, when you have it on the stand, you have it like that, or like this, you know, just on the stand. You can't really make out that there's nothing on the back here, but it is clear that there's nothing there. It's like they've missed it out. It's a shame because, like I said, the model itself, the Nebula class, is fantastic, and even though it's got a lot of weight to it, and I mean a lot of weight, especially along this front section, because like I said, all of this is die cast. The whole saucer section is die cast, and they've done some really nice detailing on the bottom as well, and it just falls flat at the back here. It's a shame. We even get some nice detail up there on the engineering hull there. Yeah, and I'm loving the deflector dish as well. It's nice and coloured. We have the light plastic here for the nacelles. But overall, I like the Nebula class starship. Love that it's in the thing. The only down point is that, but I think it outdone itself with that. Also, I would have gone for the Sunderland. Oops. I would have gone for the Sunderland other than the Honshu, but I don't make those sort of decisions. Anyway, that is our look at Flashback. Now we've got to and you'll see, so it's up like that, sinks, and that is because the hole is too big for the stand, and that's what mine does. And like I said, it's top heavy as well. Anyway, thank you for joining us here at the Nexus for Flashback, and we'll catch you at the next one.